Hi everybody, Grandad here, and I'm out and about today in Oswestry having a little look at the sights. Now, as you can see, I'm in a car park, and you might be wondering why on earth I brought you to a car park. Well, the reason is, if I turn you around very quietly, you'll see there's a huge mound here going up with stone walls. Now, this stone wall at the bottom isn't original. This has been built to make the car park, and it's made of modern stone. But this area is known as Castle Mound. And some of the stones up there are probably some of the original stones from the castle that was once here. Now, sadly, it's a very poor remnant of the castle that was here many hundreds of years ago. And it's quite an important castle, situated as it is on the heart of Oswestry. It's right on the Welsh border, and this castle has seen a lot of activity, battles and various things over the years. So it's very interesting from a historical point of view, although not much of the actual original castle remains, because back in the day when castles became damaged and destroyed by various battles that it got involved in, people didn't value it quite like we do today, and therefore the castle was demolished. But the castle still remains in the fabric of Oswestry, because the stones were taken away by people to build their homes. And in various parts of the town you can find remnants of the original castle in parts of the town. There's a nice church just here, which I don't think it is a church anymore, but I've no doubt that the Christ Church it's called, yes, and I'm sure some of the stones that built that castle, that church, were made out of stones that were originally part of this castle. Now, this entrance part here is not really any part of the castle remains. I mean, there are some pictures, sketches made, and if you go on the internet you can find out some very interesting history about Oswestry Castle. Now, the castle was quite big in its time, and there is a few bits of information here which I'll show and photograph. Don't know how well it's going to show up. It might do. And there's some quite interesting history associated with Oswestry Castle. And as you can see, at one time it was quite extensive, and much of the town was encompassed by the keep and what was known as the bailey, the outer bailey and inner bailey of the castle. But they seem to think that this part, the only part that now remains, was part of the keep. Now, many excavations have been done on it, and quite a few bits and pieces still remain of the original castle. Now, it's quite a climb to go up here, and as you know, I haven't got much breath, so it's quite a climb for me, and I'm going to have to hang on to these chains as we go up to view the castle mound that remains. And if you look up on the internet about Oswestry Castle, you'll find out that there's a great many battles between the Welsh over in Powys and the English, or the Anglo-Saxons, and then the English, fighting over this piece of ground on the border of England and Wales. And so it's very interesting to see the various interesting parts of this castle. Now, its history dates back many hundreds of years and many battles, and it was owned by many different peoples from both sides. And I can't remember all the names of the various kings, but it finally got its last time it was used as a fortification, I suppose, was during the English Civil War, when the castle was used by the Royalists, I think, and got attacked by Oliver Cromwell's Roundheads, and they pretty much destroyed the castle, and leaving it in a very ruinous state because they were able to use cannons and explosives, and they totally destroyed the castle, and therefore it fell into rack and ruins. As I say, people took the stones and built them into the various buildings within the town. But there's a wonderful view from the mound. We were down there in the car park, but if I look over I can see the old railway buildings, and I can't quite see where I live, but it's just underneath what we call Shelf Bank. You can just see the chimney of Ardmillan, or the tower of Ardmillan, poking out over the trees there, and then on down over Shelf Bank to the railway buildings and the tall chimney there. Now I did a video on Shelf Bank, but I don't know whether I've put it up yet, but it's quite interesting. So you've got a nice view of what is known as Castle Mound in the middle of the town of Oswestry. If we go on round a little bit further, we may get another view. If you look between these trees, you can see a flat area between the trees on the top there and a few gullies. Now that is old Oswestry. It's an Iron Age hill fort, and that dates back well into the Bronze Age. That was occupied by Bronze Age people and several other peoples, and it was a homestead. They call it a hill fort, but research seems to show that these weren't really forts in the sense of a castle being a fort for battling people. It was more of a fortified homestead, and people would have lived in there looking after their animals and cattle. And I'm hoping to go up there and do a video solely on the hill fort. But that's a nice little view of it, looking out from Castle Mound. And we'll go up a little bit further and look over this way and see some more wonderful views. And now we'll climb some steps to go up onto the top of Castle Mound. Now, as I say, they have done excavations here, and they found one or two bits and pieces buried, but nothing of great significance was found. They found a floor, I believe, just here where we're looking, of what they think was a chamber area, and there's several piles of rocks, no doubt just the remnants of the castle that once was here. Now Shropshire is very interesting. If you're interested in castles, Shropshire is a very interesting place to come on the border of Wales here, and there's a great many castles, and there was a castle at Whittington, which is still quite a good castle, which is over in that direction. Obviously we can't see anything of it now, but it's over in that direction. And a bit further round in that direction there's Ellesmere Castle. There's a castle there. There was a castle at West Felton, and there was a castle at Sherwoodine, and a castle at Middle. All played their part. And there's another little view there of Shelf Bank. They all played their part in the fortification of the borderlands between England and Wales, of which there was a great deal of activity, and people have fought over this land for a long time. Thank goodness they don't fight over it anymore, but we're still on the border, and there's a certain amount of rivalry between the Welsh and the English around this area, and it makes it very interesting to come and look at it. But if you're interested in castles, and especially Oswestry Castle, then I suggest you come and look at the castle remains and climb up on Castle Mound and look on the internet to find out the history associated with Oswestry Castle. It's a pity that they didn't keep a little bit more of the remains intact. But as I say, Oswestry Castle is here, bits of it anyway, and the rest of it is scattered, no doubt, in the buildings in and around the town, and very often they do excavations and they find bits of stone that undoubtedly belong to Oswestry Castle. So I think this will have to end my little visit to Oswestry Castle, and I'll close now in my usual way by saying, hope you enjoyed this video and share it with your friends, and give me a like if you like it, and obviously subscribe and ring that bell. So until the next time when I take you somewhere else in Oswestry or somewhere interesting to look, it's Grandad signing off and saying as usual, bye bye now, bye bye.